Our webinar today. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're going to talk about this webinar. We're going to talk about adding AI video analytics to your existing CCTV system. So I will be recording the presentation. So at the end of it, I'll be able to share the video as well as the presentation slides with you so that you can share it with your colleagues. So let's start. I'll be sharing my screen. If you can't see, please let us know. Okay, so today, yes, again, we're going to talk about the video analytics solution. I'm going to start my presentation here, is adding AI video analytics to your existing CCTV system. So slightly a bit about FootfallCam. We are a global leader in people counting system. We developed our hardware and also our software, all 100% made by us. We are headquartered in the UK, and we're creating a very advanced people counting system to the global market. So many of you have been with us for quite some time. You have already used our system. So we do reinvest our revenue heavily back onto our R&D. So this is one of the systems that we are continuously improving, and we serve many different industry. So this particular, we have a series of webinars, so talking about the different solutions, different technical product, and also different industry specific solutions. Please feel free to join our other webinars as well. But for this particular one, we're going to talk about how adding a video analytics to the existing CCTV system. So topics for today is how an overview of video analytics and all the different features that we have it there, and then we share some use cases and also the system architecture. So now this is you have known us a lot on our people counting camera. This is the FootfallCam and the 3D Plus, 3D Max. So many of you have been very familiar with that. So now we are building another layer on top with a Centroid, where we can, again, we can also take video stream from our camera, but also any other CCTV cameras that are there. So you can take video streams to that through your DVR and VR to the Centroid. Then we will provide you with the aggregated analytic data onto our data platform. So that is because there are more than 120 million CCTV cameras in the world now. And at the moment, the CCTV cameras, what they're only doing is mainly for security. So they are recording the footage, and people only access the footage when something happened, so that for police, for any investigation. So CCTV footages are only being used at the moment for that level. But with this solution, with adding AI and video analytics into it, we are able to generate in-depth data analytics. So those cameras are already been installed. Many cities already have all these cameras already there. So we are able to utilize existing infrastructure to give in-depth data analytics. So we can connect up to 8 cameras per device, so making it very effective. Very cost effective as well. So now why video analytics? So what kind of analysis can we do? So there are a few things that we could do. You could do crowd detection in a very large area. You can do outdoor street counting, count how many people are on the pedestrian, on the streets for city. Facial recognition, you can see for security or likewise for demographic analysis. So are they male, female, what are the age range and things like this. We also do skeleton tracking with the CCTV, empty shelf detection for retails, and also car counting. I will go through in more details one by one on there. So first of all, crowd counting. So this is things for places, big places. This is a train station, for transport hub, for for squares, in the city square, for a big area where there is a crowd. So they are being used for crowd control to avoid stampede for health and safety issue. So you can keep track of the crowd density. So all those dots are where we are counting all the people. This is utilizing an existing CCTV camera that are already there. So you could do that. You can analyze when your facility is the most crowded, when is the quietest time. You can do all those analytics that we have been doing with all our footfall counting previously. We can also monitor the real-time occupancy level, now more so for the current pandemic, because you need to control them. So you know how many people are now here in the foyer. And so, with the live occupancy monitor, it tells you when your number of people are moving up, and then if it then reach a threshold, the maximum threshold, a alert is being sent to your personnel on the mobile phone or any devices. So then they can divide and plan their crew and personnel allocation. So these are the features that they could use. Another thing is outdoor street counting. So this is just utilizing all the CCTV cameras that the local council have already installed on the street. You can see that little green dot there. That's where we are detecting a person. So you can see it there. So this one is going to measure pedestrian volume down this street. We also know the direction, either going down that way or coming up this way. So you can measure facilities such as walkway, pedestrian crossing, footbridge, and all those. So to improve and build a new infrastructure in the high traffic area. As part of this is the planning in smart city. So you can also measure public facility usage, like whether or not the public transportation, you can make informed infrastructure changes, or you can decide such as bus routes, shelters, and all those in popular location. You get a report like this, which I will show quickly. I go to that reporting. So like this, like for a city outdoor street counting report. So you can break down on the pedestrian on the different streets, street A, B, C, for example. So you can see that, okay, street B obviously is the most crowded one, likewise. And when is the maximum, when is the time that is busiest with the maximum number of pedestrian, which day and at which hour. This is breaking down by day, which street is more crowded. And this is then in the last 7 days, breaking down by days in the hour. So which hour, with a depth map, a heat map color coding. So which is when it is the busiest time. So with the reporting like this for smart city planning. I then move on. So facial recognition for demographic. So for example, this is then recognizing that. So for here, you can do gender, age, roughly what age they are, the mood as well. You can judge. So these are things for retail, for facility, public facility, for libraries, for museums. They are going to detect, for example, this is the male between 25 to 32 years old, so things like this. And also for security, for visitor verification, for some places where they need, they want to compare between their regular customer versus loyal VIP customer, so they can group by that. Employee, so they want to obviously let employee in whilst measuring, how many are non-employee, blacklisted person. So again, this is using something on an existing camera. Obviously, there is this will require a higher requirement with a more HD camera and at the correct position where we can actually see the face of the person clearly. Skeleton tracking. So this is something that where we can track a person's skeleton based on how they move, because a person is an animated, they have motion. So based on that, we know where the skeleton is. So we can see whether or not a person is engaging with a certain product. So again, this is very useful for supermarkets, for retails. So, and also for offices likewise. So it is not to track how the the employee are behaving, but more so is on a facility, where people are aggregating. When they're aggregating, how do they behave? Do they stand? Do they sit? And things like this, so that they can improve their facility offering. So this is like pose and behavior tracking. So that is for example, in a public venue, in a plaza, in a city square. Do they need to provide more sitting area, or do they need to provide more smaller social bubble, conversation area? So things like this is what, with the skeleton tracking, can give you the data to analyze on. I'm going to quickly show you a little about the reports here. So this is something like so product engagement report with the skeleton tracking, because then we know the person is touching which product, facing which product. So for example, in here you will have top 20 products by product engagement rate. So these are the products that you have got a lot of. So this is passerby, people who pass by that shelves or pass by that product, and how many people are engaging with it, and how many people actually touch the product, and the quantity sold, and this is the engagement rate. So these are very, very intense and very in-depth data analysis for any businesses that need to understand their market response, and also for city council to look at where people are behaving, how they're engaging with different things, and also things like for museums, exhibition, so they can see what people are responding to, which one is more popular, which one is attracting attention, and things like this. So these are very useful data. And then you have empty shelf detection. So empty shelf detection is for stock replenishment. So for example, because of the video, for example, here, we know how many products are right to the edge of the shelves, so we know which one is empty. So looking at that, when someone took out a whole chunk, you will now see that it's blue, so it has detected an empty shelf. So when it's empty, it will actually send an alert to a smart device on there, so they will know that which shelf they need to go and restock. When they have restocked, then they can just reset it back. So this is again for retail, this is quite very important for them, because if you have an empty shelves for any supermarket, you will know that empty shelves means a missed sales opportunity. Customers have come, they could have bought something from you, but because you haven't stocked up the shelf, then you're losing the sales opportunity. So this is a very simple thing, utilizing cameras that they already have there for security. So now they are also utilizing that camera to give them a very useful business application. So then the next one, car counting. Again, you have any city have got loads of CCTV cameras there. They are already pointing towards the street, so you are able to do analytics on it by counting the number of cars. So it can work under challenging vision as well. Snow accumulation, varying lighting conditions, because obviously you have it going into the nighttime, and partial occlusion by other vehicles. So we can overcome quite a lot of all these conditions. So this one will then give you, you can see where you can identify the root cause of any congestion in the city. You can make your diversion plan. You can see your diversion plan immediately, whether or not it's working or is actually causing more congestion. So things like this, and you can adapt your diversion planning based on the peak hours, on different time of the day or different time of the year, and then you can analyze the road traffic density. So these are data that are very crucial for any smart city planning. So for example, if I look through, you'll be able to click on this link to go on to the report. So if I just go on to the report there for you, So these are road usage report. So particularly at this junction where you have 3 roads, what are the usage, compare which is the peak hour, and comparing, an aggregate of the last few days, when is the peak, when is the off peak, maybe a specific street, which one is congestion. You're breaking down on the congestion. Is it a complete you can't move, or is it a slow, or has it cleared then? And then the street ranking by the busiest hour, and the different vehicle count by the on the different street. You can obviously have a lot more reporting on there as well, based on the different comparison of the different streets. So we're going to look at use cases. So these are then video analytics on the existing cameras that you have. So we're now looking at different use cases. For example, for large public venue. So for example, the mosque in Mecca is a 1.5 million capacity venue. During peak traffic, they do have that. For example, with this one, I'm going to zoom in. So it is for crowd control to avoid stampede. So looking at that, so we have installed all the different cameras into all their entrances, giving you the number of in and out. So this is using the FootfallCam cameras, the 3D Plus, giving you a number of in and out, giving you the occupancy in this area, but also utilizing their CCTV camera, giving you more details of, okay, then within this area, which is the area that is more crowded, because this is a very big area. And so you want to then break it down to, inside here where the congestion is. So you want to know more of that. So this is one which is a crowd control, where we have the primary threshold and the secondary threshold. So anything that is lower than the primary threshold, usually lower than 70% of the maximum capacity, is green, so they don't have to worry about it. In between the two thresholds is become yellow, so alerting the security guards where they need to go and try to control the crowd. And those that are red obviously is above the secondary threshold, where they really need to be there to do traffic control and things like this. So going back, so this is really a mission critical control on there, because then they need to avoid stampede, so they need to make sure the crowd are being diverted accordingly. It is also to quantify the total number of visitors that they know in each zone, and also into obviously in the whole area. And this is a real-time occupancy level. So combining, looking at that, so you can see how many people there are. They have tons of CCTV cameras out there. So it is an advance in the system to be able to utilize the people counter as well as CCTV counting. Then for retail is very, very useful, because in retail, a lot of time they already have people counting, they already have CCTV cameras inside their store for security purposes. At the moment, this camera is just there for insurance purposes. It doesn't do much with the footage, but we can then utilize, just adding one more box of the Centroid box, we are able to then provide them with all those additional data. Product level engagement by skeleton tracking, so they can identify the market response to each of the different product. They can measure the sales conversion in product level, and they can also determine which is the best performing and worst performing product. Empty shelf detection, they can avoid the missed sales opportunity. Staff can carry out very quick replenishment. So at the moment, without that, the store manager probably have to go to look through all their shelves, especially with the big hypermarket, supermarket. They have got quite a lot of job for them to have to go through that and see which shelves is empty, and then they will have to then organize the staff to go and replenish them. So considering that time is very time consuming, and it's also, there's quite a lot of significant delay as well. But whereas this one is automated, staff will get an alert, then immediately they can just go to the shelf and replenish it. It actually tells them which product is empty, which shelf is empty, so they can replenish it quite accurately. So it reduces a lot of labor cost. It also speed things up. So it reduces also customers' frustration. So customers obviously don't like coming in here and then finding that this is out of stock, that is out of stock, things like this. So it's increasing customer satisfaction, shopping frequency, and it makes reallocation of staff to focus on other priority tasks as well. So it's very popular in retail. And the other thing is also one new thing that is a very, very big trend and that requires a lot, throughout globally is smart city planning. Now, this is something that they already have lots of CCTV there, and these are areas where they really are desperate for data. So for smart city planning, there are lots of use cases there. For traffic flow measurements, so they are able to measure which is the busiest road within the town, to ease of congestion, for a better, especially city center planning on traffic. Pedestrian footfall, again, is something that they would like to know as well. So if they have new facilities and whether or not they need to justify if the city needs to improve, whether they are improving or losing trade, and whether or not how they should reallocate their facilities or build more facilities to improve situation in the city. Public transport scheduler, so they can improve scheduling. A lot of public transport are around the world. Some are privatized, but a lot are probably government funded, local council funded. So they want to make sure that their public transport scheduler, they are built towards demand rather than a wasteful based on just a normal schedule. So this is something that they really want data to. And they could, because they already have the CCTV available there. So they can just piggyback on those already existing infrastructure. Car park occupancy, so they can optimize the parking usage space for both off-street and on-street parking. So, for example, on-street, off-street parking, so private car park, they could probably do with a entrance counting, which we also do. But a lot of on-street parking along the street. So this is where this is very useful with existing CCTV camera. And also community area usage. Number of people that goes to the park, to the playground, to the football field, all those community area that is provided, public use area that is provided by the city council. So they're wanting to have data analysis on this as well. So these are all part of the incentive in smart city planning. And then smart building. So this is another way. This is more commercial. So a lot of the, the building landlords, the modernization of office buildings. So they are all now looking into the smart building. So they're wanting to be able to visualize the occupancy level in different area and also on different floor. So not just the number of people going in, but going on to the different level and also the different area as well. So in an office area, you have meeting rooms, you have open hot desk area, you have communal area, you have big meeting spaces, things like this. So they want to know which area they are. And also you have kitchen area, the cafe area, the socialization area and all those things. So they want to identify occupancy pattern, and so they can distribute people effectively to avoid overcrowding. For example, the catering area, the whole building could be going into a canteen or on a catering service. So they really want the employee to be able to stack at their lunchtime. So an occupancy counting in that area will allow the employee to know that, oh, it's quite crowded now, why don't I go half an hour later? Things like this. So this is something they want to be able to distribute people automatically, so people use the data to maneuver themselves where they want to go. And also space-specific utilization, so facility utilization. So this is facility management of all those buildings is very key for them. These are the data that they are wanting to look at. So are this meeting room type overutilized or underutilized? If this type of meeting room is underutilized, then maybe they should split it into two smaller ones. Things like this. So these are a very big open space and maybe a lab. So do they need to, how much usage it is? So they're wanting to know so that they can make a data-driven decision to optimize their workspace. So the system architecture, so briefly, so one is a smaller scale people counter system. So when you have installed our people counting service camera, so our camera is usually at the entrance to count how many people going in and out. So but because of the camera angle, it can actually capture quite a lot of different angles as well with the new one, with the 3D Max on there. So when you bolt it onto a centroid, you can do a lot more other analysis as well. Then the smaller scale CCTV system. So for example, you're not installing any people counting system. The city already have existing CCTV camera. So each centroid will be able to connect up to 8 cameras. So if you have more, then obviously you just double up the number of centroids. So this is very scalable. So you can go from a small retail shop that have 8 cameras, then you just need to provide them with 1 centroid, or it can scale up to a whole city where you probably need about 20, 30 of those centroids. So this is very scalable, and likewise, we always do is then all the aggregated data will come to our cloud platform. So you can also integrate, it can be a mix of people counter and CCTV systems. This obviously is a much larger scale, for example, for the city planning. And so that's how they are being connected as well. So this is something about the centroid. It is a metal casing, so it has a very, very high processing power, 64-bit quad core on there with a dedicated GPU on there. So the actual data sheet, you can find it here, you can download it here. It is a low power and it's edge technology. Video analytics. So everything is being analyzed here. So when the data is being uploaded to the cloud, is uploading aggregated data only. So all the video analytics are being done here. Okay, so coming to our analytic manager, I think a lot of you are already quite familiar. Again, so it is a cloud platform. It can be installed at the customer site on-prem, or anyone can just utilize our cloud platform. So it has all the different functions with staff alert. It's a centralized management software. We have the API for integration. We have lots of predefined report set. We have health checking built into it, user account management, automated email schedule, and all that. So we also have a data sheet on that. So reporting suite, I think you have also seen quite a lot of our different reports. We have the analytics center. You can click on all this to go on to the sample report, company weekly, site weekly, marketing effectiveness, life occupancy, zone analytics, safe occupancy counting, queue counting. So all those, and also heat map, we got a lot of those as well. We have a separate webinar just to go through on our enterprise level software. But I'll just quickly go through this. There is also management control on our software, your user control, branch control, email scheduler, import and export of data. We also have health check. So the system automatically check all your cameras that is in your account frequently, consistently throughout the day. So you have data integrity report, data availability report, issue tracker, and support portal. So all the things are there. So that's the end of my presentation. So hopefully you'll find this useful. I will be sharing the video recording of this and also the presentation slides after this. I want to draw your attention before I go to the Q&A. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's just called the FootfallCam, because we will continuously update the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, with our latest videos, for example, the webinar videos. So you might find that helpful there, and we'll send an alert to you. So thank you. If you have got any question, please feel free to to ask. You could also, if you like to be more private, you could also send your questions anytime to our sales team, which is at sales@footfallcam.com. So we'll be able to come back to you if you needed to schedule another more specific meeting. So please feel free to do so. Okay, once again, if there's no more questions, thank you again for all your time. Appreciate that. Thanks for joining me today. And we will again show you if we have any more future webinars on any other industry solution. So hopefully you could join us again. Thank you. Bye-bye.